Hello everybody. In this video we are going to discuss the basic structure of a bacteria. To understand the structure, let's take a ride into the bacteria. The bacteria is actually a water kingdom with a supreme protection around it. It has 3 layers of protection. The outermost layer that protects it is highly variable. It is dependent on the king of the water kingdom whether he wishes for this layer to be present or not. This layer is called the capsule. This is a very oily, slimy and slippery layer which is protective in function, as the slippery nature of this layer makes it difficult for the WBCs to phagocytose these microbes. This is the main function of this layer. The blue bacteria is unable to enter the capsule, while the green microbe has successfully crossed the capsule of the bacteria along with us. Next, we have to face the rigid cell wall, which is protective in function. It also helps maintain the shape of the bacteria, and based on the thickness of the peptidoglycan in this layer, we can determine whether these bacteria are gram-positive or gram-negative bacteria. A gram-positive bacteria will have a thick peptidoglycan layer, while a gram-negative bacteria has a thin peptidoglycan layer. The green microbe could not cross the cell wall, but luckily we have crossed the cell wall. Next, we reach the layer of soldiers, who strictly regulate the entry and exit of substances that enter and exit the bacteria. This regulatory layer of soldiers is known as the cell membrane. And since it is so selective in what enters and exits the cell, it is also known as the selectively permeable membrane. We'll have to show our ID cards, and only if our ID cards are verified and approved by the soldiers in this layer, we will be able to obtain entry into the cell. Now that our IDs are verified by the soldiers, we have finally reached the interior of the cell, which is the water kingdom. In this trick, we call the interior of the cell as a water kingdom due to the omnipresence of this water-like substance called the cytoplasm. We can observe all the operations that go on in the cell in this region. We have the king in the center, who is the main individual controlling what, where, and when things happen, and who does these things. The king is the nucleoid. He contains the genetic material. The factories that we see scattered around in the water kingdom are ribosomes. Ribosomes are protein factories associated with the function of producing proteins. Finally, we see a few ministers in the kingdom. These ministers are the plasmids, which are additional genetic material that don't instruct for anything, but their presence may confer additional protection to the bacteria. To revise this concept in a gist, we have the outer oily layer. Next, we have a steel wall. Next, we have a layer of soldiers. Finally, we reach the water kingdom with the king in the center, several factories scattered around in the kingdom, and a few ministers. The oily layer on the outside is a capsule which is highly variable. The steel wall is the cell wall. The string of soldiers protecting and regulating what enters and exits the cell is the selectively permeable membrane or the cell membrane. The interior of the cell is known as the water kingdom because of the omnipresence of the cytoplasm in this region. The king is the nucleoid, the factories are the ribosomes, and the ministers are the plasmids. So this was all about the introduction of the bacteria. I hope this video was helpful in understanding this concept. That's all we have for today. Thank you.